All right, we're live. Let's get this shared first. All right, we're going to get this shared first. Do that. We'll tweet that out. There we go. Let's close. And that's that. All right, there we are. Picks from Joe's bye week. All right, bye week. Boring. A lot of content this week, obviously, about we know what the state of Oklahoma State football, but there are two games that's like everybody and their brothers on a bye week this week. You literally 60% of the conference is on a bye week. Kansas couldn't be involved in that. Oh well. So from a game perspective, there's really only one what I think should be interesting game. Oklahoma after coming off a bye week, after losing to Texas and firing Mike Stoops. Here we go. They actually moved up in the rankings, bizarrely enough. Controversy jumped UCF, which big whoop-de-doo. OU's likely a better team than UCF. Any given weekend, could UCF hang? Maybe, but big deal. So number 9 OU at TCU. So obviously we've got OU's offense, as scary as it can be, going against the Gary Patterson defense at TCU. Always fascinating. Should be a very fascinating matchup. TCU's offense, pretty anemic. I mean, I easily would say that TCU's offense, you've really got offensively, you've got OU at the top of the conference. I think you easily could say that. I would say Tech, strangely enough, Tech, West Virginia, and Iowa State, I would say are up there in the top half of the conference in offense together. Okay. Texas is kind of in the middle there, not real dynamic, very physical. They'll beat teams up physically, but offensively they're just not very dynamic, especially from the quarterback position. You've got then you've really got the bottom half of the league, which could you say Kansas is definitely the worst offense? Okay, fine. But K-State, TCU, and Oklahoma State are all right there in their suckiness of defense or of offense. So TCU, it's going to be very interesting. Mike Stoops gone. See what happens. Can OU really make some kind of a turnaround in 2 weeks? In defense with their philosophy or something, a scheme. So it's been very interesting to see what TCU's rather anemic offense does against what has been a weak Oklahoma defense up to this point. You've got OU favored by 8. Over under is 62. I was wrong about. I've been wrong all year. I've missed so many games all year on this, but my gut is OU's defense is going to come out and play well. OU's offense is going to come out and get after it. I think you take OU, you lay the points. Over under, I might go the under on this. I don't necessarily think OU is going to, I think TCU's defense should be better equipped to handle OU's offense than Texas' defense was. But we'll see. I don't know. Over-under is kind of iffy on me because, think about it. If OU scores 40, does TCU score 20? Now you're getting pretty close, right? You're getting pretty close to the over-under. I don't know. My state, I think lay the points and go under on that game. TCU needs to win, but I think OU is going to be too good. I just don't think TCU's got the offense to hang with them. And that's the noon game, noon Eastern on ABC, national game. And then at 3:30, Kansas at Texas Tech. My God. How bad? How bad is that? I mean, we're talking Big 12 football over with by 3:45. So hang on, I'm trying to close out of something here that I need to get logged out. It's a work thing that keeps popping up. There we go. I just, Texas Tech is favored by 18. The over-under is 59. I say Texas Tech, lay the points. If Oklahoma State beat Kansas at Kansas by 20, Texas Tech should beat Kansas by more than 20. Really? I would be all over Texas Tech, lay the points. Over, under, I don't know. I mean, OSU scored 48. You think Texas Tech scores more than that? I think so. Texas Tech could get pretty close. Kansas should score. I think I'd probably Texas Tech lay the points and go the over on that game. You should have two pretty decent days for football weather. So that game is 3:30 Eastern on FS1. That'll be their Big 12 national game, afternoon game. And that's it. The other 6 teams are on holiday, which, there's a couple of them that need it, especially Oklahoma State. So you got Oklahoma State. I mean, where do we go? I don't want to belabor the thing. There's been a lot of great. I tell you what, there's been a lot of great content. A lot of great content this week around the whole QB thing. Do you play him? Do you not play him? When do you play? If you're going to play him, when do you play him? Do you roll him out against Texas? Do you wait a week? Because what if you roll him out against Texas and he's great, right? This is the part that just aggravates the piss out of me. And I'm going to go back to a comment I made in a post on Cowboys Ride for Free. I made it in the podcast on Cowboys Ride for Free. I think other people have alluded to it. And that is, if Spencer Sanders is talented, if he's that much more talented than Taylor Cornelius, I don't care if you don't think he's fully prepared to handle the offense on the field. You do a Mason Rudolph when you rolled Mason Rudolph out. And let's go back to that. Forget 2009. I won't even talk about the Whedon thing. Let's go back to 2014. Are you telling me that you could not have rolled Mason Rudolph out 2 games earlier, 2 or 3 games earlier, right? Think about the difference in that season, okay? Think about that. Come on. I mean, that it's irritating that that the coaching staff for me waits too long for the preparation. They got to just know enough of the offense. Really? You can't simplify it enough to let the talent be on the field. Just 2 or 3 games earlier. That's it. I mean, if you think about this, let's go back. OSU loses to Texas Tech. Okay? And looked bad doing it, guys. We looked bad doing it. The offense just looked so not dynamic at all. That was your chance, I believe. You're going to Kansas the next week. You want to roll somebody out new? Roll them out new on the road at Kansas. There was your chance to jumpstart after just one loss where you've got your entire, as you like to say, you've got your whole life in front of you still, right? All your goals in the Big 12 are still there. And if you were going to roll out and burn a red shirt, that to me would have been the perfect chance to do it. That being said, now you've waited. And pretty much the only thing, right? The only thing that we're playing for now at this point is a winning season in a bowl game. Well, not even a winning season, 6 wins. If you go 500 in a regular season, that would at least maintain the streak of non-losing seasons, right? But you're going to roll out somebody new against arguably one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the conference. Maybe the top defense. Who knows? Extremely physical. You roll a new kid out there, that defense is going to come after him. And if your offensive line is not prepared, if your scheme is not prepared to give him as easy a path to success as possible, I mean, that's a game he could get brutalized. I don't care who you put out there. I mean, for that matter, if you want to change something up, throw Drew Brown out there. Let's see that. Throw Drew Brown out there. Let's see how he reacts. But I wouldn't throw Spencer Sanders out there. Not for 2 seconds against Texas. And they may do it. Who knows? That's my amateur opinion. I'm not a coach. I'm not involved in it. But, I mean, at this point, you've waited this long. Wait one more game. Wait one more game. I mean, your chances of getting bowl eligible are slim as it is. I mean, you've got really 2 what you would say are winnable opportunities at Baylor and at TCU, both of them on the road. Gosh, Jesus. You know, West Virginia at home, I think, has become more available, as I said on the podcast. But, you know, you're not going to be favored. Any win, I don't think you're favored in a single game down the stretch. And you'd be lucky to win any of them. So at that point, I wait till Baylor. Roll them out of Baylor. You got 4 games. Let it fly. Either one of them can play. You're not going to burn a red shirt at that point. All right. Screw the bowl game. Okay. That's not a given. You play for the season games. And okay, fine. You don't roll them out then. I'll tell you right now, if they don't roll them out at West Virginia, you're either telling me as a coaching staff that you're too afraid to put up. You're saying I'm just afraid he's going to get hurt. That's bullshit. This is football. People get hurt all the time. It doesn't always happen to you. You rolled Mason Rudolph out there. He did great. Guy stayed on his feet for 2 years with only a couple of little hiccups in there. Okay. Especially if the guy, you know, all your quarterbacks you have that you could play are all runners. The guys are all mobile. They're going to get hit. You're going to run them. What the hell? You know, Bill Haston goes on the Pistols Firing podcast and you know, he tweeted about it, talked. If Spencer Sanders is that much more dynamic, just from a talent perspective, than Taylor Cornelius, I don't care if he knows 1/3 of the playbook. Play him. Put him out there. Make it simple. I don't care. Let him learn on the fly. I mean, if the kid is that good, it's your job as a coach to keep him coached up so that he can absorb the bumps and the bruises, the hiccups here and there. All right. You did a pretty damn good job with Mason Rudolph doing that. I understand why you couldn't do that with Spencer Sanders. Honest to God. Okay. So, I mean, that's really where it's at. I mean, they're going to come out against Texas, and we damn well better see something different. You know? I mean, just damn well better see something different. I think Gundy's quote, if he's trolling, that quote about, you know, if we thought we had somebody, you know, talented enough to come out and make a difference, we would have already played him. That's just stupid. Don't make stupid comments. Just don't say anything. Just say, guys, we're not talking about it. All right. We're making our decisions. We're not talking about it. We'll do what we do when we do it. But that's just a stupid comment. It sounds stupid. He's not talented enough. The kid's come in, all the accolades he got, and you're telling me that kid's not more talented than Taylor Cornelius? I mean, I get it if Drew Brown's not more talented than Taylor Cornelius, fine. You bring him in. You brought him in because he's a healthy body. Remember I said that at the beginning of the season. Drew Brown coming in, his insertion into the program was guaranteed Spencer Sanders red shirt right there. Okay. Guaranteed. That means if Taylor Cornelius had gone down and we would have had to play somebody else, I guarantee you see Drew Brown. I just think you would have seen Drew Brown. No question. I mean, he was listed number 2. I think that's because that way you're bringing in a mature, game-tested, somebody who's used to the speed of the game. But maybe he's not more talented, right, than Taylor Cornelius. So he's not going to beat Cornelius out for the job, but you can insert him in and run stuff, okay? And it gives you a viable backup without throwing your freshman in there. Now, you now get to push through the season, and obviously if you get to redshirt both of them, now you're playing next year. You can let Spencer Sanders fly, and you have, again, a viable backup, okay? And so I just say what you want. This is something Gundy has struggled with, okay? They made the right decision to play Lunt. He was the most talented. They made a bad decision in what they asked him to do, okay? Not a great decision in what they asked him to do. And so that, I don't necessarily put that on, oh, you played a freshman early and it ruined it. Coaches ruined him. You know, he was out for quite a while with the injury. And the first game you put him in, the first game back is at Kansas State when they had a really good defense and they were a good team. And that was poor decision making there, I think, from a coaching perspective. I don't think playing him early was bad in and of itself. And then I think it affected him. They waited a little too long to play Rudolph. I'm telling you right now, if he was ready in that game, you know, he came out and looked ready. You could have played him 2 games earlier. I'm sorry, you could have played him 2 games earlier at least. And look at what a difference it 2-3 games earlier. Look what a potential difference that makes in that season. Okay, I mean, you're burning the red shirt. 1 game burns it. Which tells you right there, Gundy had absolutely no interest in playing him, which is exactly what I think you've got this time. I think he's got absolutely no interest in playing him unless he just feels like he's got it. He just has to do it. And I think if he has to do it, he's going to do it in the last 4 games. If he rolls this guy out against Texas, what the hell are you doing? You lost 3 out of your last 4 games. You couldn't put Brown out there and try something? This is the part I think it's a struggle. As an OSU fan, it's a little bit of a struggle. And that is when you have a coaching staff, a head coach, whose view of the program is essentially, you know, he's going to play the long game with Oklahoma State. And listen, I get it. I see kind of a logical approach to it, okay? Gundy's not a big risk taker. So, you know, I don't know. It's really, you know, what do you do? So I think if you see him against Texas, it's you know, why couldn't you played him 2 games earlier when you still had a lot of stuff in front of you? And, you know, otherwise, wait till Baylor. You've locked in the red shirt. And now you know, do whatever you want to do at that point. So everybody enjoy. Short weekend. I haven't even bothered looking at the other games. The game, you know, other games at large. Let's just take a quick peek here. What do we got here? If we look at the top 25, yeah, you got some good games. You got noon game, Michigan at Michigan State, huge. Harbaugh's a little on the hot seat there. Maryland, Iowa's a dud. That's Cincy, Temple, Illinois, Wisconsin, duds. Alabama, Tennessee, dud. A lot of duds. Colorado at Washington, that could be a good one. Mississippi State at LSU has potential. Outside of that, Oregon at Washington State, you know, Pac-12 late. Not really much going on there. So kind of a weekend in college football. So everybody enjoy. If you're driving around and traveling, be safe. Go Pokes. We'll see you next week.